Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 7:02 PM on the 20th of January, 2025. City Council is in the chambers at 1140 Dillman Road. Meeting has started. Madam Clerk, please take roll.
Mayor Waldman,
I am here.
Chairman Pro Tem Knox,
He is going to be here by Zoom in the next 5-10 minutes.
all right, Councilmember Clark,
Here.
Councilmember Wild,
Here.
and Councilmember Carl is absent.
He is absent with excuse. Thank you very much. Next, we have on the agenda, ma'am, our communications. Madam Clerk, do we have any communications?
We have no written communications.
No written communications, and I see nobody in the audience and nobody online, other than Zoom user. And I'm not going to assume that's a recipient of somebody in the community. Next, we will go into item number 3, City Manager's Report. Good evening.
Good evening. Let me share my screen. All right. All right. Good evening, everyone. So we'll just start off with a few upcoming events. The first is that we are celebrating Lunar New Year at Five Oaks. This is the Chinese New Year, and this coming year is the year of the snake. So February 6th is an author's talk with the author Ed Shu on his book Chinese Brothers, American Sons. And then February 8th is the Lunar New Year celebration from 1 to 4 p.m. at Five Oaks. There'll be food, crafts, calligraphy demonstrations, and a live performance by the St. Louis Modern Chinese School. So if you're able to attend that, we would encourage everybody to come out and celebrate the new year. The next is that we have 2 grand openings coming up in February. The first is Aldi on February 6th at 8:45 in the morning at 9175 Olive Crossing. So I hope everybody can be there to celebrate another grocery store in the city of Olivet. And then the next week, Great Heart Brewery is scheduled for a grand opening on February 14th. It's a great Valentine's Day event. We don't have a time yet, but as soon as we find out, we will push that forward through social media. But they're at 9514 Olive. It's the white building on the south side of Olive where Plant Haven is. So they share that building with Plant Haven. So we're excited to welcome both of these businesses into our community. Coffee with the Mayor is February 12th. Again, we invite everybody out to Five Oaks on Warson at 8:45 in the morning. Coffee and sweet treats are available. The mayor's guest this month will be Councilwoman Gretchen Bangert. She is the new county councilwoman for District 2, and she represents Olivet. So she was just elected in November and just sworn in January. So if you have not had an opportunity to meet Councilwoman Bangert, we would invite everybody to come out and meet her and say hello. And then our Olivet Business Awards, the second annual Olivet Business Awards, are open for nominations. So we are accepting nominations for your favorite up to three businesses and 3 restaurants. So we would encourage you to go and let us know who you think is great in the city of Olivet. You can go to the city's website or you can scan the QR code below to nominate those individuals. The city's Economic Development Commission will gather those nominations and review them in March at their March meeting, and they will select the ultimate winner of the business award and the restaurant award, and then the winners will receive their plaques at the May Creve Coeur Olivet Chamber Luncheon. So we encourage everybody to go vote. And then again, if you are interested in learning what police officers do, we would encourage you to attend the Citizens Police Academy. This is a cooperative program between the City of Olivet Police Department and neighboring police departments. The classes are on Wednesdays and they begin March 5th and they go from 7 to 9 p.m. So we would encourage you to follow the link below, which will take you to the City of Creve Coeur's page. They are handling enrollments for Citizens Police Academy, so don't be concerned if you go to the City of Creve Coeur's page or follow that QR code. It's a very interesting program that really gives you an opportunity to kind of get a behind the scenes look of what law enforcement professionals do in their day-to-day activities. And then lastly, I would encourage everybody to subscribe to This Week in Olivet. It is a great weekly newsletter that comes out on Mondays and gives you really good information about things that are going on in the city for that week. And then last but not least, we have our upcoming meetings. So as of right now, the city council work session for February 4th is canceled because I don't have anything for the council to talk about. And then February 6th is the pension board meeting, and right before the Planning and Community Design Commission meeting that same night. And then we'll have another council meeting the 11th, and then Planning and Community Design on the 20th, and Parks and Rec on the 19th. But there, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does anybody have any questions of the city manager?
I
Go ahead.
I just want to confirm that Coffee with the Cop, the date was changed.
Yeah, Coffee with a
Okay.
Cop is the 11th.
Yeah,
Okay,
you sent,
great.
you
It's
sent
the
it in,
11th.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Teams thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Because they originally had it scheduled for the same grand opening day for Aldi at about the same time, and they reconsidered.
Appreciate that. Does anyone have any questions? Anybody else? All right. We will move on to item number 4, which is staff reports.
Okay, starting off with the fire department. So the fire department gives tours to not just our littlest Olivet residents, as shown in the photos, but if community members wanted to see a tour, they can certainly schedule that. And you know, you get an opportunity to see the vehicles, the fire truck, the ambulance up close. You get to see the station. You get to talk to them about, again, some of their day-to-day activities and the things that that they do in the firehouse. And then recently, the crews were able to use a house that was going to be demolished off of Old Bonham for their vest training, which is vent. It's venting and going in and searching the house when it is all smoky. So as you can see in the photos, the firefighters are crawling up the ladder to get into the house and to do so safely. So we appreciated the property owners who were going to demolish that house by allowing us to do some training on a real world structure. Parks and Rec. So if you go down to the pond at Stacy Park, you will see a new memorial bench that has been installed. A family purchased that bench through our program. You will notice that instead of it being installed on a concrete slab, it was installed on some piers and some gravel, and that's because the habitat in that area is protected, and they wanted to protect the trees, tree roots and things. So it's on purpose that they have installed that bench that way. Also, the Stacy restrooms have reopened. It has gotten warm enough that we're not worried about the pipes freezing in the Stacy restrooms, so they have reopened. And then youth baseball. I know it's hard to believe that we're talking about baseball, but registration is open until February 21st for Olivet Youth Baseball. And I would just put a shout out to summer camp. I think summer camp registration is going to open in February. Camp O is being rebranded to Camp Five Oaks. So we would encourage everyone to watch for information about that. The planning department, our planning reports are famous. So I was actually on vacation over the holidays, and a friend of mine who is a planner texted me and said, "I'm watching this webinar, this webcast through APA, and they're highlighting your staff reports." And I thought she meant my staff reports in Rock Hill. And I was like, well, that's odd because none of our staff reports in Rock Hill are online. And no, she was talking about Olivet staff reports. So as you can see here are the screenshots. Sure enough, those are Olivet staff reports to the Planning and Community Development Commission. So a good shout out to Carlos Trejo, Don Doty, and Jack Carswell for their outstanding work. And that's why they were being referred to in the webcast, they were good examples of what you should put in a staff report. So congratulations to that. Police, speaking of Coffee with a Cop, is February 11th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Revo Cup, 9200 Olive. So we would encourage folks to come on out and just talk to a police officer. Anything you want to bring up, or you just want to say hello, they will be there for coffee and chatting. And then Public Works. So the top photo is the Llewellyn Storm Channel. They were unable to do work for quite a while because of the storm and the snow, but they have started the weir constructions, and then when the ground thaws out, they will in fact get back to work. We have all confidence in them, and the fact that they had done quite a bit of work before the storm started. So they are a very diligent company. And then the bottom is the Centennial Greenway. So because of the weather, and really one of the last things they need to put in are fences, which can't do when the ground's frozen. We've allowed for a 60-day extension. So we expect the project to be completed March 3rd of 2025. And then the grand opening has been scheduled for May 3rd at Warson Park, the connection at Five Oaks. So they were looking for a day in the spring. Oh, there's Rick. We'll promote him to a panelist. All right, and that's all I have unless there are any questions.
Anybody have any questions? All right, Rick, can we confirm that? Oh, there we go. He's on. All right, Rick, you are on and welcome. All right, we just got done with staff reports. And just for the record, the VIS stands for Vent, Enter, Isolate, and Search.
There you go.
The next item is item number 5, which are monthly financial reports for December 2024. Mr. Mann, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor.
You have the floor.
In front of us, we have our 6-month review for our fiscal year up until the end of December. Overall revenue below expectations, a little over 300,000. Our expenditures remain below below those expectations by about 75,000. So the same story we've kind of talked about the whole year. Everything is stabilized on that revenue side, and we'll get a chart here in a second, but their expenditures also have been, right at expectations. So that's kind of where we'll monitor things as we begin our budgeting season. A couple notes here with the audit finalized in beginning of January. We can see our audited fund balance numbers are now in our reports. It started off there with that reserve policy well within policy of almost 3 million, 2.8 million for the annual stuff for this year. And then that sales tax category, which we've been talking about, it does appear to have stabilized where we were, or where we had kind of thought it was. We missed a little bit of the sharing parts of it toward the end of last year. But now it's not losing any more ground compared to where we were over the last couple of months. That's a positive as we kind of try to predict what's going to happen next year and close out our year. Property tax collections are just a little bit below where we thought, based on historical stuff, and a lot of it has to do with timing from things from the county. They'll get things cleared out between Christmas and New Year's, but we don't get the money till like the 2nd or the 3rd of January. So we'll get to see that next month. Good news is I expect to meet budget expectations there. I do have a kind of a couple notes in some of the other funds besides that general fund that we usually talk about. NID collections are well on par. We're just too shy, which is about where we end up. Usually about in middle of into end of January, but we're everyone's fully caught up there except for those two. That's good news. And then in December report, we see in the pension fund, 325,000 was forwarded to the actual pension trust fund, and that's reported in here. That's right about what we expected to collect and forward on for the year. And then we're expecting our first pilots collections for the TIF this year. We haven't received any yet, but I don't. That snow at the beginning of the year, they're showing as late right now, but it's really not sure if it was just held up in the mail. So that's good news though on a project that's taken a little bit of a while to get that increment up. Utility taxes overall stable. Parks and Rec revenues remain behind those expectations, but youth sports is providing a good counter on some of those other negative revenue lines in there. The remaining categories, they're mixed, but overall positive or improving when it comes to permits, licensing and such. Like I said, expenditures right where we thought. The salary variances that we saw at the beginning of the year, they're kind of moderating out, and then it's right where we expect it to be. I'll go through one more. We'll go to the next page.
Can you hold for one
Oh,
second?
yeah, I'm sorry.
Please forgive me for my confusion on reading a sentence.
Okay.
Right at revenue, sales tax category remains in negative territory, but not has.
Oh, I changed that and it didn't.
What
update.
is it, not or it
Yeah.
has?
I know that I changed it. I took it down. I know. City manager Jennifer, she pointed that out to me. I thought I fixed it on Friday, and that's what she saw that too. It has
I believe
it
you.
has stabilized
Okay,
and not gotten worse for
Okay.
much. So
okay, thank you,
it's
thank
a
you.
combination
All
of two
right.
things. Yes, good catch, and everything has stabilized. And we see it on the next page in the chart, page 2. So where the orange bar there at the bottom, you can see it's stable. We're going to meet up with the blue line pretty close. I expect where we're going to see if we were to connect that orange with the rest of that blue line, this is about what we're going to be looking at from here on out. We do have, the Aldi is opening. We'll see a little bump there, but we don't have any great big, huge variance in sales tax payers. And so we should see a nice stable line. We also don't have any more sharing, so we're not paying attention to what's going on countywide month to month or where this log-based 10 sharing mechanism kicks in. And that's what we always see with these wild gyrations of timings that come in. So that's I will summarize the report there for into December, unless there's any questions.
And the truth of the matter is, this is really 2 months prior to today, so hopefully we'll be seeing this go up based upon what is going on now in 2 months. All right.
That's right. $1 you spend today, we won't get until March here. Yep.
Anybody have any questions of Mr. Mann? All right, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Next item is item number 6, quarterly investment report, 2024 quarter 4. Mr. Mann, you have the floor.
Good, thank you. So now again with about 6 months in, our 6 month in of our fiscal year, but of course the year end for the investments and the statements and such. But we don't have much update from the last time we talked 3 months ago. Everything is held fairly steady. Nothing new on the long end, which is that gray stuff at the bottom. I can more than happy to reiterate kind of where we're at with the top grays, those 3-month ladders. The bottom gray section is longer term, and then the middle section that don't have any coloring in the middle. That's our 12-month ladder at 250,000 every single month. That will continue. I do have one maybe kind of future look into things. We're seeing rates in like the yield curve is like completely flat all the way out to 5 years. Like 2 years, we'll maybe look at getting something at like a 4.5% just to stretch out as we look towards our budgeting, but not too far that we tie up any more cash. To Market rates, again, out to 4 years is about 2.5%. Our ICS, that insured cash sweep, is at like 2.25%. And so that's tied to the Fed funds rate. If we see those drop, we'll see that drop. So we have about a 2% spread on where we're at on those investments. So I don't have anything to add there. No real change in plan. Unless you have some thoughts or direction otherwise.
All right, does anyone have any questions of Mr. Mann?
No.
All right, Rick has none as well. You have none as well. Thank you very much. We'll
Thank you.
continue to see how the market plays.
Mhm.
Next item is item number 7, which are city council reports. I will start to my left. Councilmember Clark.
I have nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
All righty, to my right, Councilmember Weil.
So at the last meeting, I gave the December Parks report, and tonight I'm going to give the January one. We met on January 15th at 5 Oaks, and the update continues to soar, and it's, doing great. We have 70 new members this past month. Some people went from being monthly members to annual members, and we have more residents that have been joining. An Olivet business actually got a corporate membership for their employees, and they tend to use them during their lunch hours. And so that's a good one. And they're going to, very exciting, and they're going to start reaching out to more corporate businesses within Olivet that can use those. And it's a great idea because you got the showers there. They can come over, work out, eat lunch, and go back to their office, or come in before work and shower and go to work. We spent most of the meeting focusing on the working project. So they set about 8 to 10 priorities for this next 6 months. And everyone on the commission has agreed to be on more than one of the priorities. And they are meeting outside of the commission meetings, coming back to the commission meetings and doing their sharing. And they range from anything with searching for grant opportunities to greenway connections with the parks and trash pickups, to working on fundraising opportunities for the Park Foundation, to the annual reports on the park habitats. They've all made a commitment to visit. All the commissioners on the Parks and Recreation are going to be visiting all 5 parks with, every few meetings, so that at the meetings they can, give feedback on the parks, and not just go to the parks that are near their homes, but spread out and go to all the different parks and, interact with the people there and find out what people are thinking and how they like different things. So it's a great way to get feedback. And it was a good meeting. It's a very dedicated group.
Excellent, very exciting. And I was about to say they are very
Mhm.
dedicated and
Yeah.
committed to what they're doing and the vision of what has been accomplished and what needs to be looked at next. So great job as a liaison. All right, on my report, I attended the EDC meeting last night on behalf of my fellow pro tem Rick Knox, because he was unable to attend. And Darren Mann was the speaker at the event, kind of giving a little bit of the budget and the money and sources and resources and information to EDC. They appreciated it, and may want to have Darren back for a little bit deeper conversation about things, the nickels and the dimes to the $100 bills. So it was a good meeting. And they continue to talk about the business and restaurant campaign last year, this year, things that could be improved upon or put into written policy and understanding effective for next year's candidacy vote. And it always is that these 2 entities, business and restaurant, will be honored in May at the Chamber's honorary event luncheon. So it'll be interesting and exciting to see who wins this year. I want to add a couple other things into my information here. Well, the city manager identified that the Honorable Gretchen Bankert will be my guest for the February Coffee with the Mayor. My peer to the right of me has always said it'd be good to kind of have things a little bit scheduled out, and taken that heed of advice. And in March, The mayor's guests will be the planning and community design folks of Olivet, University City, and Creve Coeur. And in April, for my final coffee with the mayor, it is going to be the city council. Whoever can be there, whoever will be there, is going to be a summary of us. How you feel, how we feel, what you've seen, what you'd like to continue to accomplish, things of that nature. So,
April 9th?
what is it, the second Wednesday of every month. So is that April 9th? That would be April 9th. All right, so those are the plans for the upcoming coffees with the mayor. And with that, I will be glad to move on to city item number 8, which is hearing from citizens. I see that there are two people. Well, I see that there are two attendees. One is Joe Kindig, and the other one is just identified as Zoom user. We are at the hearing from citizens, and if either of you are wanting to speak, please raise your hand and make sure that you will be able to get your video turned on so that we can see you. I'll give you about 15 seconds. All right, I think if you could have found your hands by now, you would have raised it. So we will move on to item number 9, which is the MoDOT Olive Boulevard Cross Share Project. And this is a public hearing. So at this point in time, we will move on to that activity. I didn't bring my cheat sheet, so if you'll pop that up, you've got a great document in there for me. So, so at this point in time, we will, let me go back to my notes here. We will close out on our regular session and we'll go into the public hearing. At this point in time, we were in the public hearing. Mr. McGregor, you have the floor.
Oh, thank you very much. I was thinking about the project today and where we are, and I left off a note here in the description that this project's almost 25 years old. We first found plans from back when the bridge was put in the late 90s, 98, I think was the earliest plan. And then it was revisited again in 2007 when they did the overpass and added in the extra lane westbound on Olive in that area. I put in lots of links here to all of the background on this when we applied for the grant, the approval, and taken us all the way to where we are today, which is the approval of the preliminary plans and right-of-way acquisition authorization from MoDOT. So we have been working with 3 property owners, 2 at Dealman Industrial. And with those 2, I expect that we will have our temporary construction easements, right-of-way dedication, and all of the documents signed probably by the middle of February. At North Price, we're working with 1 property owner. We've been working very hard trying to find an equitable agreement for everybody. And I believe that we have presented a very fair offer for the property owner and for the tenant. You know, we need to be reflective on both of these things, that there's somebody who owns a building, but also somebody who has a business there. So I think we've laid out a very fair compromise. As a negotiator once told me, the best you can do is hope that everybody is unhappy in one of these deals, because it's very hard to keep it equitable and fair, and ultimately you're relocating someone. Our goal is really to be wrapping this project up by the beginning of second quarter 2026. And if our plan works out as we laid it, we should be able to attain that. And that is the time when Irvington Apartments should be completed and ready for occupancy. So we would like to have these improvements completed as new tenants are moving into Olivet. We do have folks moving into the Enterprise building, which will now become the Emerson building, I guess, for naming, but won't be quite as impactful on traffic as the apartment will. So glad to answer any questions.
This is the public hearing. Is there anybody that is in attendance that has a question or a comment with regards to this project of the Alba Boulevard MoDOT cost share project? All right, seeing nothing from the community, I'm going to go back to my fellow council members and ask if they have any questions.
I do not.
I do not.
I do not.
All right, very good. All right, with that, we will close the public hearing and we will go back into the regular session. Thank you so much, Mr. McGregor.
Thank you.
We are back in regular session.
Can the motion be put on the screen?
Is there any action? Okay, all right.
Oh,
Do you have a
I
question?
thought we had to vote.
You have a question? Okay. Okay, all right.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to item number 10, bill number 3039. Madam Clerk.
Bill 3039, an ordinance amending certain provisions of Chapter 600 Liquor Control, being part of Title 6 Business and Occupation of the Olivet Municipal Code regarding hours for sale of intoxicating liquor on Sundays and further regarding the sale of retailer packaged alcoholic beverages. Second reading.
Mr. Trejo,
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Of course,
Good
my
evening.
name's Carlos Trejo.
congratulations to you as well.
Thank you.
Always so proud of the planning department.
We have a good
Um,
group, so.
You
Uh,
have the floor.
My name is Carlos Trejo. I'm the Director of Planning and Community Development for the City of Olivet. And tonight before you, of course, is the second reading for Bill 3039, which amends our liquor regulations to be consistent with the state changes from 2021. More specifically, they alter the retail sales on Sundays and also address packaged container liquor, retail liquor in there. Be glad to answer any specific questions, but again, this puts us in line with the changes that the state approved in 2021.
Does anyone have any questions? I think I kind of summarized this at the last meeting. That Mobile on the Run made a contact as the mayor and asked us to look at this. So we are really just, as it says, getting ourselves up to date with the state statutes. And if there are no questions, there on your screen is recommended action. I will entertain and take a motion.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to approve Bill 3039, an ordinance amending certain provisions of Chapter 600 Liquor Control, being part of Title 6, regulating hours of the sale of intoxicating liquor on Sundays and further regarding the sale of retail packaged alcohol beverages.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. If there's nothing further, please poll the council.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Weil,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Knox,
Yes.
Mayor Waldman.
Yes,
Motion is passed. Bill 3039 becomes ordinance 2809.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Item number 11, we have an application for liquor license for Aldi's. Madam Clerk, take it away.
Application for liquor license for Aldi Incorporated, number 103 9175 Olive Crossing.
Good evening, Ms. Doty.
Good evening, Madam
Yeah.
Mayor.
You have the floor. Congratulations to y'all as well.
Thank you. I assure you, it's mostly Carlos and Jack. But tonight, before you, we have the Aldi liquor license. Within your packet, you'll find Chief Andreski's background check as well as their application. The redacted parts are personal information that you would not want shared in a public forum. If there are any questions, Greg Yowitz, he is online and can answer some questions. I would say the only thing that's not in your packet is the assurance or research that we did to ensure the good citizenship. And that would be to check their taxes, everything is paid, and just, whatever, public information that we could find on the parcel and on the company, we're able to check out.
Does anybody have any questions? I do. And it's just really curiosity, and you might have to bring Mr. Yowitz on, but our own city may know the answer to this. What are the hours of Aldi's gonna be? Do we know?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna refer to Mr. Yawitz on that.
We have a
And-
Zoom user that raised their hand, but you're gonna have to identify yourself.
And that may be,
Hi, this is Sarah Kending. I'm the district manager for the Aldi in Olivet.
Great. Can, Ms. Kindig, can you answer the mayor's question about the hours of operation for the store?
I sure can. We are going to start 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, Monday through Sunday.
Thank you very much.
So then
Thank
the
you.
liquor sales at Aldi's would be from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. But because the law identifies longer hours and I just didn't know what Aldi's hours were. So thank you, Zoom user. I appreciate that very much. All right. If there's no other questions, I will entertain the recommended action that is before us. Oh,
I'd like to make the motion to authorize the city clerk to issue a liquor license for the 2025 calendar year to Aldi Incorporated, number 103, addressed at 9175 Olive Crossing.
Second,
moved and seconded. If there's no additional questions, please poll the council.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Weil,
yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Knox,
Yes.
Mayor Waldman,
Yes.
motion is passed.
Thank you very much. All right, moving up along, we're gonna go to item number 12, which is the North Price Road Phase 1 S2PS application. I'm not even gonna look up and say, Mr. McGregor. Good evening. You have the floor again.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, council again. So before you is our, with this process, we have to meet the deadlines for the application and try to make the schedule of the council meetings to approve the application. So this is a draft application. We're still working on it. The weather a few weeks ago did put me a little bit behind. Most specifically, we're working on the budget for the project. We were trying to include all contingencies in this. And one thing to note that's a little bit different than our other projects, most recently on Dealman. Dealman Road, we did not need to acquire any right of way from adjacent property owners because there was a sidewalk on one side and the width in most of the roadway was 50 feet. In this project, we have a 40-foot corridor with sidewalks on both sides. So we know we're going to have a lot of negotiations with residents. We also have a significant amount of retaining walls that are always an unknown. How are they, how is the existing built environment going to affect the plan? So we had contingencies for that, as well as we are incorporating the engineering services, engineering, design, construction, administration into the grant, looking for participation. And on other projects, we funded that out of our capital improvement budgets. So it'll seem like a much larger project for those reasons. As we are dialing in the estimate, I'm thinking we'll probably be down between 2 and 2.5 million for the total project cost, and we will be asking for 80% of that from the state. Application is due the 7th of February. So we are actively working on that over the next 2 weeks to finalize the application. The project is a full rehabilitation, just like we've done on our other urban collector roadways. New sidewalks, transitioning away once again from the rolled curb and gutter to a vertical curb to provide better pedestrian protection to keep vehicles on the roadway, and new milling of asphalt, replacing it with the BP1 mix with fiber that we like. Have a few stormwater inlets to adjust along the way, get the flow of water along the roadway fixed. And I think that about sums it up, all the pieces in there. I'm sure there's, a lot of other little pieces to work with. I'm glad to answer any questions.
Does anybody have any questions?
No, I'm just excited it's happening.
Yeah,
Okay.
and just one thing to note too, the fiscal years, if you look at this, it's based on the MoDOT fiscal year, not the City of Olivet fiscal year. So the dates may look a little bit different. And with any of these projects, we're programming 4 years now rather than 3. And that is a post-pandemic issue where there was taking so long to take care of right-of-way negotiations. So that's why you'll see a full 4 years, MoDOT fiscal years into the project.
Okay, are we gonna get the $15,000 for the application fee? That is part of what would be our 20% or no?
That is a flat application fee. If we do not get awarded the grant, it gets returned to us.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
And that is an estimate right now up there. That is what we have approved in the budget.
Mhm.
I think will be a little bit less, but of course, I can't dial that in until we, finalize the estimate next week.
Okay, all right, all right.
I do have one question.
Go
I
ahead.
apologize.
Go ahead.
And the sidewalks will be what we've agreed upon at previous meetings would be the 5 feet.
We will endeavor to put 5 feet in wherever possible. Like I said, the built environment will control.
Right.
And I fully expect that there may be an area where we have a 6-foot sidewalk on back of curb, just like we did on Dealman a bit north of Old Bonham. And there may be an area where there is a retaining wall that we can't relocate, where we have a 4-foot sidewalk. But it is our goal to put 5-foot sidewalk on each side, a 2-foot tree lawn, and a 26-foot pavement.
I'm sorry I made you repeat yourself.
No problem. It's a very fair question.
Thank you.
And that's one of the reasons, we proactively asked to do the survey ahead of time so that we can start answering those questions of how the roadway is going to actually center in the right of way.
I'd be happy to make a motion. Oh, I'm
That's,
sorry.
City Manager Yackley, the bickering with the latest moves of federal dollars. uh, Will any of this impact our assuring that we have our dollars?
I think these funds were approved and programmed. Aren't these done years before?
I would say that nothing is guaranteed, and it would be foolish of me to give you a confident, definitive answer.
Okay,
But we will keep you informed should anything happen.
all right. Thank you so much. All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, there is recommended action before you. I will be happy to take that recommended action.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the city managers to submit a North Price Road Phase 1 STPS application and fee up to $15,000 to East West Gateway.
Do I have a
Second.
Seconded by Pro Tem Knox. If there's no additional questions, please poll the council.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Weil,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Knox,
Yes.
Mayor Waldman,
Yes,
motion is passed.
thank you. We're gonna move on to item number 13, which is Police Department surplus vehicle. Mr. McGregor, good evening.
Thank you very much. We have before you a Dodge Charger that's no longer in service, and it wasn't really an efficient vehicle to pass down to other departments. So we would like to release it for auction. I think it'll be a very desirable vehicle. The last Ford we sold, it was a 2019, and it was, I think the sale price was almost $8,000 for a used police car. It was pretty impressive.
Very good. And this is a younger one as well.
Yes, less miles and newer. Yeah.
Yes. Are there any questions? If there are none, I will accept the recommended action before us.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to declare the city asset 0924 as surplus.
Second.
Moved and seconded, please poll the council.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Weil,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Knox,
Yes.
Mayor Waldman,
Yes,
motion is passed.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're on to item number 14, which is the second round of hearing from citizens. There's nobody in the audience that is not an employee. Mr. Yao. Yeah.
Sorry, I just-
Yeah, now I was talking about here. And Mr. Yowitz is online. If you would like to speak during hearing from citizens, please raise your hand and we will acknowledge you and bring you over. Well, who is that, Shayna Punnam? Mr. Yowich, you are on as a panelist. Good evening and welcome.
Oh,
Yeah.
hello. Thank you. I can't see that myself is on, so I didn't know I was on. I just thought I'd say how excited I am for next Thursday. Back in 2015, were a number of you, some of you still on the council from then, who said, whatever you do, try and get our city back a grocery store. And in 9 days, reality happens and a really awesome, beautiful store opens. I was in there this weekend as they were stocking, and it is a sight to behold. I will very selfishly say I think it is the nicest Aldi I have ever seen in my life, and it may be one of the nicest that they've ever built. And I received comments from a number of friends of mine in the development business that are very complimentary about the design. So I am very excited for our city to have a grocery back after what I think is 34-ish years, and for our residents to be able to buy their groceries in our town, and for our town to benefit from that sales tax. No offense to any other town in this greater metropolitan region, but I'd rather the tax be generated to pay for things like our fire and police department and city services. So I'm just excited, and there's more good stuff coming at Olive Crossing. It'll be 11 years next month since I called my lawyer cousin, Mr. Remus, and said, I have a crazy idea. And while it's not quite as far along as I wanted, I also didn't expect a global pandemic back in 2014. So more to come, but just really excited for next Thursday.
Thank you, Mr. Yowitz, for your investment in our community. I think we're all very excited, and I will honestly say that what I've learned from Aldi's is they've become much more mindful of environmental and the foods and the items that they provide in to the public, healthy, safe, and I guess I'll learn about the fun aisle, whatever they call that aisle, but the fun aisle.
The
So-
Aldi Finds aisle, I think it's
Oh,
called.
okay, there we go. So we're all excited. The council's all going to be there. I love it when the council's all going to be together. So we will see you on February 6th. I'll be there before 8:45, but not much earlier. And we'll all enjoy a great time and begin shopping and buying food, healthy food and good items in our own community. So thank you.
And if you need, if the parking lot is full at Aldi, I've told them that parking over at Price Crossing that morning or on the first floor of the apartment garage, which is open, is just fine. So for those coming to the opening, just know that for the opening, we're not going to worry about that overflow.
All right. Thank you for that sharing. All right. The next item is item number 15, which is the review and acceptance of the meeting minutes of January 14, 2025. I saw nothing. What about my peers?
I
saw nothing.
They look good to me.
Nope. All good.
I'll take a motion to acknowledge and accept.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes from January 14th of 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded to accept the meeting minutes of January 20, whatever, of 2025. Please poll the council.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Weil,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Knox,
Yes.
Mayor Waldman,
Yes.
motion is passed.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. The next item is item number 16, city attorney's report.
No report this evening.
You're just a busy bee. All right. Although she's been very busy dealing with the liquor license stuff, so let's not make me think like she does nothing. We're going to go on to item number 17, which is information and going into an executive session. In this document, we're going to executive session pursuant to the revised statutes of the state of Missouri to discuss attorney-client privilege matters pursuant to section 610.021.1 and real estate matters pursuant to 610.021.2. I will entertain a motion and a second for those executive sessions.
I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session pursuant to the revised statutes of state of Missouri to discuss attorney-client privilege matters pursuant to 610.021.1 and real estate matters pursuant to section 610.021.2.
Second.
Moved and seconded, please poll the council.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Weil,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Knox,
Yes.
Mayor Waldman.
Yes.
Motion is passed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going into the executive session. We will return when that is over for final remarks and adjournment. All right, the city council is back in the regular session. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Adjourned, 8:31 PM.